Now, we're joined on the line by Peter Melrose. He's a Maynooth resident and he joins us on the line now. Good morning, Peter.
Hi, Owen. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. You got in touch with us to express concern about a proposed bus depot on Courthouse Square in the town there in Maynooth. So tell us a little bit more about this.
Yeah, so just to give you a little bit of background, I'm a relatively new resident to Maynooth. We were lucky enough to secure a home in November 2021. And one of the main reasons my wife and I were drawn to Maynooth was the atmosphere in the town. In particular, the town square is kind of the focal point of where people seem to be meeting up and chatting, and young families, people with dogs, all that kind of thing. And it's a lovely thing when you come down into the town, you see that kind of open space. It's a very welcoming atmosphere. I was a bit shocked, to be honest, to see then in the Maynooth transport strategy that there appears to be the demolition of the square in the proposal in favour of the bus interchange. And I think that, you know, we're losing a bit of our cultural and historical heritage if we decide to go down that kind of road. One thing in particular that jumped out at me when I started doing a bit of research into this is that the most recent local area plan, as far as I can see, placed the town square at the centre of the rejuvenation and put it down as a cultural hub, and there's lovely artists' interpretations of the potential for the square with lovely benches and meeting places and markets and all that kind of thing. And I'm just, you know, as someone who's kind of come in from the outside, I love the town, I love the look of the town, and I would be very disappointed, and I would do everything I could to kind of stop this and maybe look for alternatives, because it's not really what I think of when I think of Maynooth. I think of, I don't know, maybe it's the kind of the atmosphere with the university town and all that kind of stuff. It feels like a small town, and it feels like a nice small community. And having places like the town square, I mean, you have Willow and Wild there, and you have Brady's, and then you've got lovely bits of coffee then across the road and stuff. And that's the kind of Maynooth that I think of, and I don't see how it benefits getting rid of that. Now,
okay.
I have to say I appreciate that a transport strategy is necessary for Maynooth. I really do. But, you know, let's look for alternative solutions there, because I don't see the benefit.
Right. This was open to public consultation, as I understand it, the Maynooth transport strategy. Did you make a submission on this consultation? I contributed to a submission on behalf of the Social Democrats, in which I clearly I made it known, and my feelings on it, that I didn't think that going down this route was an option that would benefit the town in the long run. Right, and what's the general feeling then within the town? Because I've spoken to kind of a number of residents there and some of the local representatives. They feel as though this more than likely won't go ahead because of the feedback. Yeah,
but that's kind of the point, and I completely concur. And anyone that I've spoken to is lots of people didn't actually know about it, and they were shocked. And then there was kind of a couple of people taking a step back, going, "That's, you know, how could you possibly do that?" And where did we get to the stage where we're having these kind of contradicting proposals coming in? Because I don't know anybody that is familiar with Maynooth, and the people that live there would never, in my opinion, agree to such a measure. So if it's not something that's going to be brought in, then, you know, how did it get to this stage in the first place?
Yeah, well, I suppose like anything else, it goes to public consultation. These proposals are made, it goes to public consultation to get the feedback of the local community, residents, public representative, etc. But as I understand it, a lot of those within Maynooth would have been kind of expressing your concerns as well, and kind of echoing what you're saying. So, you
know, and just on that point, I just want to say one thing, and I'm aware that Carton Avenue is another contentious issue, and I was told that there would be no bridges ever allowed into Carton Avenue. And I understand that there's now a concrete bridge built there, and planning permission for 2 more bridges to be put in. So while people say, oh, this is never going to happen, until it's absolutely not going to happen, I think
local residents need to be active in their support and keep on it, because it's all well and good saying it one time and then letting it die down, and then the next thing you know, it's too late to do anything about it. So, there's form in this regard in the past. So I really think I urge everybody to be active residents in making sure that the square remains as a square, and not just remain, that we enact that local area plan. And I encourage, it's online, it's very easy to find on Google. It's a really lovely plan, and there's really nice quotes about it being the heart of Maynooth, and I completely agree with that. So let's go for that kind of positive aspect about building the town around it instead of building through it.
OK, and finally then, before I let you go, Peter, if this was to go ahead, hypothetically, for example, what would the square look like, or what changes would be made to the square?
Oh, and there wouldn't be a square. That's, I have the thing right in front of me saying there would be, partial removal of the square. If you see the map, and again, the map is freely available online, the line that's going through the square, there'd be nothing left of the square. So that's, they're saying that there'd be bits of the left square. The only bit that, if anyone is familiar with Maynooth, outside Willow and Wild, there's a couple of little parking spaces there, and then there's a few potted plants. That's the bit that doesn't have the line through it. So that's the rest of your square. You're talking about getting rid of the 1916 monument there. You're talking about getting rid of the lovely arches that are there. So, putting this bus interchange through would be the end of the square. And that doesn't make sense to me. When you think of Maynooth Town Centre, you think of the square. It's there. And you can see during COVID and stuff as well, in more recent times, it's not like it's obsolete and it's an eyesore, it's in the way. It was a focal meeting point for people that they could go and meet safely in social distance. So it still has a purpose. It's still available for use as a market, an open market. So let's think about those kinds of alternatives to really make the square that lovely hub that people can come and converge on and talk to each other and do business. That's the kind of Maynooth I'd like to see.
OK, raising those concerns about a proposed bus depot interchange on Courthouse Square in Maynooth. That is local resident Peter Melrose. Thanks for your time, Peter, and good morning.